shareholder with the Sierra Club over in Iowa. I'm really excited to be here with you all today. Unfortunately, we spent our morning in there. It was not as beautiful as out here. I wanted to tell you a little bit about that quickly. We went in, the whole shareholder meeting revolves around asking questions of these finance gods. And a lot of the questions are very flattering. I'm happy to report that there were a lot of questions about climate today. And we went in this morning with representatives from Chesapeake, Nevada, Sierra Club, the Winnebago Nation, and is that everybody? I think that's everybody. And we did have one person drawn, and she will speak about how her question went in a little bit. Hannah had a really badass question though, so I wanted to give her an opportunity to ask it on the megaphone. So Hannah Hayes, student activist from Des Moines. Might have heard of her.
Hi everyone, like Emma said, my name is Hannah Hayes. I'm a senior this year, and this is my third year in a row coming to the shareholder meeting. But I think it's really interesting because less than a week ago we saw the devastating tornadoes that happened here in Nebraska, and we just know that extreme weather events are going to get more dangerous and more severe. And there was a recent article talking about how these extreme weather events are costing companies like Berkshire billions of dollars every year. So my question was, Berkshire was given one of the lowest grades for engagement with climate action, and yet you, Warren Buffett, are urging shareholders to vote against requiring you to publish a breakdown of your emissions. Instead of putting solar panels into the state of Nevada, they're installing gas plants, and you still refuse to retire MidAmerican's coal plants before 2049, which would mitigate the risk of climate change, something that has already cost Berkshire billions of dollars. Is this because you have invested over $2 billion in Chevron, the world's second biggest carbon polluter? So I didn't get to ask that question, but my question was kind of answered when there was a question that was asked about how climate change has been impacting insurance rates for Berkshire, and their response was that climate change has increased the risk, but that's good because insurance companies make money off of risk. And so they said, just like inflation, if climate change can be used correctly, it can be a friend to the insurance industry. So I think that really answers my question that yes, the reason they're not taking climate action is because they're making money off of climate change. So it really just shows how time and time again they're putting people or profits over people, and they're putting money over our lives, and I don't think it's right. So I'm really glad that all of you guys are here today to tell them that. People, not profits. 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 Give it up for Hannah.
All right, yeah, give it up again for Hannah Hayes. All right. So thanks everyone again for coming out. My name is Marshall James. I'm with the Iowa Environmental Council, part of the Clean Up Mid-Am Coalition, which again we're here urging Berkshire Hathaway to divest from the very risky and unreliable fossil fuel energy industry. Every year, coal plants up and down the Mississippi are leaching toxic chemicals right into our drinking water. That affects us, that affects all the animals, the plants. It affects millions of people's drinking water, and they just keep doing it. And they will continue to do it until the coal plants are retired and that waste is properly disposed of. I want to introduce one of our first speakers. This is a farmer, a conservationist, and a shareholder from Stuart, Iowa. Please give it up for Warren Varley.
We're gonna do this here.
To get good audio quality, he's going to speak into there.
Well, thank you for that kind introduction. It's really a great opportunity to be here, and I appreciate. All right. Thank you for that kind introduction. I don't know how I could say it any better than Karen Stein and Hannah, but I really appreciate the opportunity. Welcome, fellow stewards. My name is Warren Varley, and I've lived most of my life on a farm in Adair County, Iowa, which is just about 100 miles straight east of here. It's a family farm that's been in our family for 6 generations, including my daughter Millie, who's now taking care of the land with her partner Elston. As a farmer, we're very aware of the effects of climate change. We feel it and we see it every day. Way back in 1979, when I was an agronomy student at Iowa State, we talked about climate change and the effect that accumulating greenhouse gases would have on the planet. That was 45 years ago. That's a lifetime for some people. It's a lifetime for my grandfather. With any enterprise like ours that's been in existence for a long time, and Warren Buffett brags about how he likes to invest in businesses that have been around, we've been through our share of environmental and economic hardships. And the thing that kept us going through all of that was our faith. And a key component of that faith is the idea that we are stewards. We're stewards of this creation. We're stewards of the land. We're responsible for the resources that have been entrusted to us. It's our obligation to leave the land, to leave our resources at least as good as we found them, hopefully better, because I know my previous generations of my family had been hard on those resources. As a farmer, I know that our best soil, and agronomist, that our best soils are on the ridges and the river bottoms. That's because that's where the windblown silt that came from the retreating Kansas Glacier 10,000 years ago that formed the Missouri River. It's where that windblown silt landed and created the loam that makes Iowa soil so fertile and not hard pan clay. That glacier formed the Missouri River, and MidAmerican Energy has 3 large coal plants on that river, 2 up by Sioux City, and their largest coal-fired power plant right across the river east of us in Council Bluffs. And why shouldn't MidAmerican burn coal? It's cheap, or is it? Is it really cheap? I believe there are costs that the Berkshire Hathaway directors are not taking into account. The most obvious thing is the impact on global warming. Whenever they burn coal, they put carbon dioxide and other coal-burning compounds into the atmosphere. Tons of carbon dioxide. Just think about that. A gas that we exhale with every breath that we breathe. And we're measuring it in tons. That's hard to even comprehend. Well, think about it this way. MidAmerican Energy burns hundreds of carloads of coal a day, every day that its coal plants are in operation. Each train car carries over 100 tons of coal. So the next time you see a hopper car full of coal, think about the fact that 90% of that ends up in the atmosphere as carbon-containing compounds like carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide. That's a little bit of an oversimplification, but not by much. But what happens to that other 10%? Well, it's left behind is coal ash, toxic coal ash. What makes it toxic? Well, It's mostly made up of PM 2.5 size particles of silica, which causes, the particles are so small they go into the tissues of your lungs and cause diseases like silicosis, COPD. And it contains toxins and carcinogens. We've got a great demonstration of that here. Things like arsenic, and cadmium, and lead, and radon, and uranium. And that ash is being carried by the winds that we're experiencing today across our farm fields, just like that fertility-giving lust once was. So why should Berkshire Hathaway Board of Directors care about that? Well, I think they have a moral obligation. They have a moral obligation to stop this polluting source of energy. Not only for the climate change impacts from the carbon dioxide, but the toxic effects of the coal ash. Do you know what the largest EPA spill is by the EPA's estimation? It wasn't the Deepwater Horizon that spilled millions of gallons of crude oil into the Gulf of Mexico. It wasn't 3 Mile Island where a nuclear power plant melted down. It was in 2008 in Kingston, Tennessee, when a dam holding back a coal ash evaporating pond.
Closer to your microphone.
I'm sorry, yeah. It's a windy day. It was that coal ash. So I asked the people, and especially the shareholders and directors of Berkshire Hathaway, imagine the liability that you're creating by generating this coal ash that is poisoning our water, potentially poisoning our land. That's a resource that we cannot replace. But I'm here today to tell you there's a better way. I'm very proud of the fact that we have 3 electricity generating MidAmerican turbines on our farm. That's the future for us. Renewable resources are here today. That is the way of the future. That's the future for Iowa. That's the future for farmers. That's the future for Berkshire Hathaway investors. It's not, it's too late if we wait.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Warren. Up next, we have a citizen of the Winnebago Nation, Michelle Lemire.
The Winnebago Reservation is located 20 miles south of Sioux City, Iowa. Just on the south side of Sioux City, Iowa are 2 old, outdated, inefficient, and filthy coal burning plants. The communities that are directly south of those plants are Winnebago, the Winnebago Reservation, and the Omaha Reservation.
That ain't right.
The air pollution that comes out of Port Neal, the Port Neal north and south, flows directly towards Winnebago. The Winnebago Reservation is directly downstream. We are the first community that the polluted water flows into. The Winnebago community and the Omaha community lead the entire state of Nebraska in cases of COPD. We have abysmal cancer incidences among our people. And the question that I would have asked today is, how much is enough? How much money is enough? How many of our people have to die for your greed to be satiated? Not only am I an educator in my community, not only am I a person who speaks up for others, I'm also a cancer patient. And I've lived all my life in Winnebago. I've breathed that air all my life. How much is enough? How many of us have to die? I'm sick of losing relatives. I miss my parents, who both died from heart disease and cancer. How many of us have to die before you have enough money? Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Michelle. Thank you. We are honored to have another member of the Winnebago Nation come and speak, Tyler Freelemere. Let's give it up for Tyler.
Hinikaragiwi bonjour. My English name is Tyler Lemire. My real name is Honchpi. Every single one of my community members has heart problems, has lung problems, has cancer. At 17 years old, I started having problems with my heart. At 19 years old, my mother has cancer, might have cancer. Just this year, we lost our last Ho-Chunk speaker because of the cancer caused by the coal plants north of our tribal nation. We are losing our Omaha relatives every single day. We are losing our Winnebago relatives every single day. How much of our culture, how much of our language do you need to take for you to have profits that make you happy? Our people are dying. We are on the brink of extinction as Winnebago people. And it's all because these people want to make profit off of us. They want to make money off of our lives. They are killing us. They are killing us by using our water and our air that we breathe. Every single day, when I lose an elder, when I lose a language speaker, when I lose a relative, I just feel so broken. Ever since our last speaker died and our language on the brink of extinction, I feel like my spirit has been broken. When will it be enough for you? Our people will continue to fight. We have always been fighters. We have always been resilient. But we need you to stand with us. We are on the brink of extinction. We are on the brink of extinction. Keep speaking out. Tell as many people as you can. I am tired. I am only 19 and I am fucking tired. I made a vow at Standing Rock. I made a vow with the Lakota and Dakota people to be a water protector. I will be a water protector my whole life. Thank you.
Let's give it up some more for Tyler. Thank you so much for sharing your powerful testimony with us all here today. Yeah, we have a big health impact study coming out next week, and it talks about the fact that while in Nebraska the indigenous folks make up less than 2% of the population, but they make up over 13% of the cancer cases. It's not proportionate, and we know it's because their nation, their tribal lands, falls directly in the path of pollution from MidAmerican Energy. I want to invite up one more citizen of the Winnebago Nation, Alexandria Walker. Let's get it up for Alexandria.
My heart resonates with Tyler and Michelle. My Gaga, my grandmother back in Winnebago, she actually is now recovering from lung cancer. And for a long time, we were worried that she was going to pass away, but she pursued. But on top of that, she's still struggling with skin cancer. So just to reiterate the number of people within our tribes that go through these things, it's not just us, it's an everybody problem. And so I wanted to start by saying the Winnebago people currently live along the Missouri River. You've heard it from Tyler, you've heard it from Michelle. But we're not the only people. We live with the Omaha amongst them. I grew up along that area. I'd like to tell you that I lived next to the Missouri River, but quite literally we all are right now. And so right now it's about that time where we have a lot of people come in for mushrooms. You guys like them, right? But as a little girl, I used to spend a lot of time there. My dad, non-native person, comes into the reservation. Alex, hold my bag of mushrooms because the game warden's gonna come through and I'm gonna get in trouble if I get caught. And so these mushrooms they take that water from the Missouri River, and we already know it's in there. We're eating these mushrooms, we're eating these plants, we're eating the stuff that comes from there. And so right across the way from where we'd pick our mushrooms is what I'd call the tower as a young child. And so that is Port Neal, which Tyler and Michelle spoke about. But you don't realize that as a child. You don't realize how much damage this tower is doing to your people and the livestock and everything around you. And I wanted to point out that there is a statistic. According to the Indian Health Services, American Indians and Alaska Natives born today have a life expectancy that is 5.5 years less than the U.S. all races population. It's a known fact that Indigenous people have higher rates of health disparities than many other groups of people. It's very common for people to pass on from heart disease, diabetes, and liver disease, COPD, and various cancers caused by environmental poisons. These statistics are a sad overview of the life expectations for all Native American people. In Thurston County, Nebraska alone, the life expectancy is 69.5 years, whereas the national average is 77.5 years. At one time, Thurston County used to be nothing but native land, but today it's filled of mostly Native American people, which are the Omaha and the Winnebago tribes in Nebraska. The Missouri River flows through these reservations. It flows through Thurston County, and you wonder why our life expectancy is so low. And so we are the people who have to deal with MidAmerica releasing their energy into our waters. MidAmerican CEO Kelsey Brown plans to retire the 5 coal-fired plants by 2050. One of these coal plants is in Salix, the plant that is directly above Winnebago. Later is too late, and with all of our Indigenous people dying from high rates of health disparities already, what will our population look like in 2050? My name is Alexandria Walker, and I'm a 23-year-old Indigenous woman, and this is my future too. And I want to see it through. I'm going to end with a quote from Alicia Vasto, the Iowa Environmental Council Water and Land Stewardship Director. The Missouri River is already damaged from agricultural pollution and other discharges. We don't need to add mercury, lead, arsenic, cyanide, and other toxic metals to the mix and degrade this river, which some people rely on for drinking water. We are the people who rely on it for drinking water.
All right, thank you so much, Alexandria. So we're here as a part of a large coalition of multiple organizations coming together to demand immediate change. And one of those great organizations is the Great Plains Action Society. So I'd like to welcome up its Executive Director, Sakawis Nobis.
Tansi Mio Ponapiti Gisagao. I actually didn't want to speak today. I really wanted to highlight what the Winnebago folks are going through and the Omaha folks and then folks from Sioux City. That's why you see a lot of Winnebago folks here. You know, we worked really hard on getting some reps from this reservation, because it is, if you can take some time later and look on a map where these 2 coal plants are, what is it, George and Neal, is that the name of it? Yeah, George Neal North and South. You will see how close they are to the Winnebago Reservation and to Sioux City, where we have very high populations of Native people as well, and not just Native, but Latino, Latina, and Mayan populations. And I'm speaking today because Keely Purcell couldn't make it, and I just wanted to say that she was going to come and talk about asthma rates. She's kind of an expert in that realm, and she couldn't make it. And I just want to make sure that we mention the very high rates of asthma in our Indigenous communities as well, NOCPD, and also that, like, we need to talk about environmental justice when we talk about this issue. That's why we have Alex and Michelle and Tyler here today, and Keely, who was going to be here, and other Indigenous people, and last year we had quite a few as well. These are the communities that these coal plants are killing at the front lines. So we need to talk about front lines, and we need to talk about environmental justice. And environmental justice isn't just about talking about the land and the climate and the pollution. It's talking about the socioeconomic conditions that lead us to this point. It's about colonization. It's about why were these fucking plants put there in the first place? Right? So why do you think they were put there? Don't tell me to watch my language. This is my land. Anyways, so this is the question we have to ask, and this is why we need Indigenous peoples to speak moving forward a lot more. And I'm excited to say that us being together has brought some really good ideas moving forward, and we're thinking of some cool things like 5K runs to the plants and just other ways to get the communities involved. So it's not going to just be here at Berkshire Hathaway, which frankly I know there's a lot of work that went into this, but I don't think this is doing anything. It's really about working with the communities. Communities are power. So I really hope that we can build more power within our communities instead of coming here and yelling at these people, because I don't know what this is going to do. It'll get some media blips for a bit, but it's really about building power. So, ai hai ki tatamahin.
Thank you so much to Cowis. All right, we got one member of our coalition got to directly ask a question of the Oracle of Omaha himself. So I'd like to welcome a community advocate with Chispa, Nevada, Maria Prentice.
Thank you for inviting us. My name is Maria Prentice. I'm from Las Vegas, Nevada. And I am here to represent my community in Chispa, Nevada. In Nevada, utilities bills are higher than ever because Nevada Energy has received approval to raise our rates. Many families in Nevada, especially in Latin communities like mine, can keep up with the high utility bills. We cannot keep up with that. An increase here, an increase there. Now electricity is unaffordable. As a retired, my husband and I, we live in a fixed income. I cannot afford higher rates. For example, like we have raised our grandchildren, and right now we have a leaking roof. We still paying for our air conditioning unit. We have to replace the walls and so on and so on. Like you see, we have to buy a new car, so we have a fixed income. And just like me, it's just one of the stories, many. Working through my community, I talk to all sorts of people and all sorts, policemen, judge, couple judges, and all types of life. They have different incomes, and of course, with the Boy Scouts of America, people that outreach, they don't have the money. My bill came various, but I've been paying about $400 for each one, electricity or gas, or maybe during the holidays a little more. I talked to one person that she had paid $900 for electricity. So I'm just giving you kind of a picture. And our bills keep going up because Nevada Energy depends on methane gas, which is imported from out of state. Until recently, Nevada didn't produce any gas. The prices of methane gas is costly gas. It's also dangerous for our health as bad as for the environment. Investing in fossil fuels is making climate changes worse. Now, Nevada Energy isn't just importing gas from out of state. In the last year, Nevada Energy has received approval to build two new gas plants in Nevada instead of closing the last remaining coal plants in our state. And let me tell you a little about coal. I sympathize with them because my my husband's grandfather and father, they were from Pennsylvania, and they work in the coal mines. And my father-in-law quit it because he started getting sick. And during the period, the people that live in the neighborhood, they didn't live to be too old. Like my father-in-law lived to be 48, and they all died at a young age. So with the black lung, which is called, what's it called? The disease? The lung crystallized. Yeah, and so I'm familiar with that. I do not want that. I don't want to do that. We already have all cancer. That's why I joined Chispa, because they're environmental. Okay. So our bills keep on, which is important for our state. Until recently, Nevada didn't produce any gas. The price of methane is decided by the national or international market out of control. Methane gas isn't just costly gas; it's also dangerous for our health and bad for our environment. Investing in the fossil fuels is making climate changes worse. Now Nevada Energy isn't just importing gas from out of state. In the last year, Nevada Energy has received approval to build 2 new gas plants. Nevada is instead closing the last remaining coal plant to our state. Nevada Energy chose to transfer into polluting gas plant. Before this, Nevada was moving towards 100% clean energy. We are one of the sunniest states in the country. We should be investing in the solar energy made right in our state. But the Nevada Energy is going backwards. They are putting their profits over our people. They are choosing to pollute the air we breathe with the new gas plants. They are putting our health at risk and putting the lives of our children at risk. They are putting our future at risk. I did ask the question about the solar panels in there. Their answer was that yes, it's a sunny state, but the solars with the batteries they put on there, they only hold 4 hours of the energy. And it says, I don't know, the way they word it, like if the way I think it says it might not work. That they're working on it and they trying, but it wasn't really like, it takes time. It takes time, they can turn off the lights. So basically, they're not really gonna, from what I gather, they're not gonna do anything. Basically they give me I don't see it happening. But that's, Chispa Nevada is an organization just like you guys, is like, it's for environmental. And I really love this because it's just like Eco Comadres. We are concerned about the air and that. In Nevada we have a lot of asthma and allergies, so that's why I joined Chispa Nevada and we get involved. So thank you so much for listening to me, and so glad to be here, and thank you for having me.
Give it up for Maria!
And keep fighting!
Maria came all the way from Las Vegas, if you didn't hear. They have a very different situation over in Las Vegas. They are retiring their coal fleet, but they are investing in gas. We don't want that. Boo! Hey, hey! Ho, ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey, hey!
Ho ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! Fossil fuels have got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho!
Fossil fuels have got to go. All right, thank you, everyone. Yeah, so our coalition is growing a lot this year because we're not just bringing together concerned citizens in the MidAmerican Energy service territory, also Pacific Corp and Nevada Energy as well. It turns out Berkshire Hathaway is polluting everywhere for profit, and so we're here to call on them to stop doing that. I'd like to invite up our next speaker, a student at the Omaha Central High with their Omaha Students for Sustainability. Please give it up for Evelina Sane.
Hello everyone, my name is Evelina Sane and I'm a junior at Omaha Central High School. I'm also a director of Students for Sustainability with Jackie and Grace over here. Throughout my journey of climate advocacy, the immediate response of adults I interact with is to commend my involvement in combating climate change. Me, as well as my other colleagues, are often granted the pleasure of hearing some rendition of, "We're so proud of your generation, we're so happy to see you working for our future." But the truth is, our motivation as youth derives from fear. People frequently ask me how I became involved in climate change, and to be honest, there was no monumental moment that sparked my infatuation. It was gradual experience and exposure to observing how extreme the impacts of climate change were in affecting my community and a larger global sphere. I have been discouraged frequently from my involvement through working with colleagues and being a citizen in a primarily legislative reluctant state, a primarily conservative state. I've been looked in the eyes and told that climate change was manufactured by China. So I've experienced the ups and downs, and I think my persistence in having a community like this to really celebrate the change we are making and recognize that every step of our journey is so crucial to a larger impact has been so valuable in my life. Thank you. Of the abundance of issues that have been generated through Berkshire Energy, I think the one that resonated with me most was the operation of coal fleets within the communities. Last semester, I collaborated with Ormantime Lab in Florida to study the emittents being produced by the North Omaha Coal Power Plant, which is operating in North Omaha currently. And my findings revealed the evident correlation between nitrogen dioxide emittance and proximity to the plant. And if you don't know, North Omaha is a predominantly black community. 68% of the residents are people of color, primarily black. And the persistence of this coal burning in their communities is an environmental justice issue. And this isn't just seen in North Omaha. It's reflected on a global scale. It's reflected in the coal power fleets that Berkshire Energy is burning in indigenous communities. This, in its authentic form, is an environmental justice issue, and it's inhumane to allow these communities to consistently be exposed to these toxins, to see the rising asthmatic rates. My studies found that the correlation between this sulfur dioxide and this nitrogen dioxide was directly associated with rising asthmatic rates, rising heart attacks, abnormal deaths attributed solely to the plant, and we're allowing this to happen. It's completely unacceptable, and we need to hold these corporations responsible.
Yes.
The prevalence of industrial plants in predominantly marginalized communities is a global tragedy. Statistics say that the primary determinant in placing plants is race in our nation. That is entirely unacceptable. These socioeconomic factors are not something that people have control of, and the fact that these corporations are taking advantage of that it's our obligation, it's everyone's obligation to be a voice and an advocate for these communities, for these indigenous communities that Berkshire is directly impacting on a daily basis. Their lives are at stake because of these operations.
Yeah.
I want to just express my appreciation for you all being here today. It's just so enlightening to see a community come together like this, and that's really what our organization is about, what Omaha SFS is about. We're entirely comprised of students, we're student-led, and the support of all of you just implicitly through our daily operations is just so heartfelt, and we appreciate that so much. We will continue to be an advocate for these communities and for the plants in Iowa and the plants in North Omaha. So if you would like to know any more information about organization, we're on Instagram at Omaha SFS. But thank you all so much for being here today. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's keep it going for Evelina. Thank you. It is really exciting to see the youth getting really involved, but it's not on them. They are our comrades, our teammates, but it's up to us to team up all together as a community and demand what we deserve, which is breathable air, drinkable water, arable land. We have the technology to move beyond polluting. All right, we got one more speaker here. She's been making music with Eco Madres right over there, and she works with Mom's Clean Air Force. Let's give it up for Karine Stein.
Thank you very much. I have a few notes prepared, but I want to take a few seconds to acknowledge the human pain displayed here today. That is really the crux of this. I have more faith that our media outreach will bring about change in other avenues. But as Sakawi said, and as the farmer and the voices from the Winnebago Nation and everybody here expressed something that's at the bottom of everything, and that is human dignity, human health, human pain, and the right to live a healthy and decent life. So whatever I say, that is really what we need to return to, what was expressed here earlier. I'm Karine Stein. I'm Iowa coordinator for Mom's Clean Air Force and its Eco Madres program. We are a national organization of more than 1.5 million caretakers, and we're dedicated to protecting children and other vulnerable people from air pollution and the effects of the climate crisis, and we fight for environmental justice. I'm here to talk about our children. Before that statement gets dismissed as quaint coming from a mother, know that I speak not only as a parent with a passion of protecting children everywhere, but also as a trained scientist and as a consumer who wishes to reduce her contribution to the climate crisis. Coal-fired power plants are an infamous source of toxic pollution, and Berkshire Hathaway's coal plants are no exception. I'd like to highlight just two of the many, many, many aspects of what's wrong with coal, and the first I'd like to highlight is mercury. Even if Berkshire Hathaway's plants had been adhering to now outdated EPA emission standards, any level of mercury emitted has been hurting children, because there is no safe level of mercury for humans. It does not exist, especially not for fetuses and small children. Mercury is one of the most potent neurotoxins known to science, and it can impede a child's ability to walk, talk, read, and learn. Mercury released from burning coal plants turns into methylmercury in water, and it concentrates in the fatty tissue of fish, which then gets eaten by mothers, and then it concentrates in the brains of fetuses. And there are communities right around here for whom fishing is a matter of cultural identity and subsistence. It also concentrates in the brains of small children who eat contaminated fish. Children, where I represent Iowa, and so the children near Iowa coal plants are living, playing, going to school very close to coal plants. because those are mixed industrial and residential areas, and oftentimes those residencies are lower in price, so it attracts families who can the least bit afford to add health issues to their already overburdened existence. And the majority of these people are people of color. They're Latinos, they're indigenous, they're African American, and many, many people who have the least strong voice in our society. We need all of our children, regardless of where they are and where they grow up on this planet. We need them to grow up healthy. As a parent, I call on Berkshire Hathaway to generate income for its shareholders in ways that do not hurt our children any longer. I'd like to also highlight a second point of the many that coal plants play a role in, and that's our intensifying climate crisis. Coal plants make a huge contribution to climate crisis that we're living. The climate crisis spawns increasingly frequent and violent weather events such as tornadoes, derechos, floods, heat waves, hailstorms, and droughts. And our region has been hard hit by all of these. Here's a current statement from the National Weather Service from just a week ago. Just last week, several long-track tornadoes damaged and destroyed hundreds, if not thousands, of homes and businesses across this very region. People across the region were deeply impacted, several were injured, and there was one fatality. These types of events continue to increase in frequency and intensity, and it is a well-established fact that human-generated fossil fuel emissions are what's behind this unnatural amplification and the increase in the worsening and frequency of natural climate phenomena. There are people out there who say, oh, this has always happened. Yes, it's part of Earth, but not with this frequency and not with this intensity, and that is directly related to the human greed of using fossil fuels, because nowadays we have better technologies available. We don't need fossil fuels anymore for energy generation. Extreme weather has effects on human health in a variety of ways. Psychological trauma from injuries, from losing what was built over a lifetime, from being forced to evacuate, and from witnessing frightening events in communities. Heat waves, air pollution, and food insecurity due to climate disasters have all been associated with higher depression rates, with higher suicide rates, and with increased aggression and interpersonal violence. There are health effects that are indirect and very, very serious, and they're weakening our society. Heat waves hurt the development of fetuses in a mother's body. When the mother cannot afford air conditioning, the extreme heat can lead to preterm birth and low birth weight, and pregnancy loss, and heat-related stress in newborns. And what about those who need to work outside? Physiologically, from a biological standpoint, we humans are not adapted to deal with heat extremes. Our inner organs collapse, and we can die very, very quickly in extreme heat. I'd like to close with a request that Berkshire Hathaway close its remaining coal plants by 2030 in a transparent and in a just way. Coal pollution. Let's go home and slow down for a moment. Let's look at our children, our grandchildren, the children of our friends and neighbors. And let's think about the children we don't know, because that's just as important or more so. We easily forget children we haven't met. But it's all of our futures, and it's their future everywhere around the globe. And what happens here affects the climate everywhere around the globe. Are we doing all we can? This is the question I want us to ask ourselves when we go home. Are we doing all we can to protect the well-being, given the scientific knowledge and the technological resources we have available to us today? Statistics and economic figures are children's lives. They are the lives of beloved people. They are not just statistics and figures. These are human stories. And if we do not protect our children's lives and health into the future, what are we here for? So Berkshire Hathaway, ask yourself this question when you go home today. Where are the children you love, and what are you doing for them? Thank you.
All right, everyone. So now we're going to invite every member of our coalition who'd like to. We're going to cross the street and get right in front of the center there, get over in some action. We're going to have some chanting. We're going to let them know, we're going to raise our voices, let them hear us. Y'all guys want some climate justice? Yeah! What do we want? Justice! And when do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Climate justice! When do we want it? Now! No more coal, no more oil. Keep the fuel in the soil. More coal, no more oil. Keep the carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep the carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep the carbon in the soil. No more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Justice. When do we want it? Now. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey.
Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho.
These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey.
Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey.
Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go.
Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey.
These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Hey, hey. Ho, ho. These fossil fuels have got to go. Now. What do we want? Climate justice. Now. Climate justice. Now. Climate justice.
When do we want it? What do we want?
Climate justice. Now. Climate justice. Now. Climate justice. Now.
What do we want?
Climate justice.
When do we want it?
Now.
No more coal, no more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. No more coal, no more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. No more oil. Keep your carbon in the soil. No more coal.
No more oil. Keep your Brenda